An engine cascade alarm howled through the patrol vessel's bridge as Vex Carell fought the controls. The ship shuddered and dove toward the ice moon.
Full cascade. The starboard nacelle is gone. Everyone brace for crash landing on HFY.
The ship tore through the blizzard atmosphere, trailing black smoke, and struck the frozen surface at a vicious angle. The impact mangled the hull. Steam hissed from ruptured plates while the crew rushed to seal their survival pods.
Surface temperature from the sensor, -178 degrees Celsius. 12 seconds of exposure would kill any Vrelak.
The Vrelak crew sealed their helmet locks. Their human passenger, Brandon Hayes, simply unzipped his flannel and looked unbothered.
So what's the ETA on rescue? This pod got a radio that reaches your people?
9 hours. The compact patrol can't get here faster. We'll suffer severe hypothermia long before then.
Do not open the hatches. Even a crack will crash the pod's temperature. We'd freeze before we could cry out.
Sounds like a Tuesday in Minnesota. Any rations in this can? I could use a coffee. This pod is tighter than an ice shanty back home. Mind if I stretch my legs outside?
Outside? You would be dead within 12 seconds. Your species cannot possibly...
What's the visibility like? I just need a few minutes to get my bearings.
Before any Vrelak could move, Brandon pushed the hatch open and stepped into the shrieking cold in nothing but flannel and jeans. Vex Carell pressed his face to the porthole. The human was ambling away through the storm as if taking an evening stroll. His medical training surfaced in a flash. Vrelak Fleet Medcomp entry 347, Category 3 existential episode.
Symptoms: acute reality dissociation, involuntary vocalization, belief that fundamental universal laws have been repealed.
Not bad visibility at all. Wind's a bit nippy, but I've fished in worse.
Pilot, your vitals are spiking. Thronvoss, help me restrain him before he hyperventilates.
He walked out into instant death, and he's not even shivering. This cannot be real.
40 minutes crawled by on the pod's chronometer. The Vrelak crew remained frozen, watching the porthole in catastrophic silence. A dark silhouette resolved in the blizzard. Brandon approached the pod, cradling a collection of objects against his chest.
Found some treasures. Wind's a bit nippy out here, but the visibility's great for scouting.
He ducked inside, bringing a cloud of frost. Ice matted his beard, and his flannel was stiff with rime.
That's our hull plating. And native creolecan. How did you collect it without freezing?
Kicked it loose from the wreck. Found this shiny rock too. Might be meteoric ore. Not bad for a stroll.
The Vrelak pressed together against the pod's far wall, their thermal suits crackling with frost. Their eyes never left the human.
40 minutes. He gathered debris like a forager, and now he's breathing evenly, while I can barely steady my own heart.
Brandon settled onto a storage crate, unpeeled a foil-wrapped rectangular bar, and bit off a piece with a loud crunch.
He's eating. After walking on a Death World ice moon for 40 minutes, he's having a snack.
The hull fragment is just damaged alloy. The lichen is inert frozen organics. No energy signatures. He should be dead.
Then how is he alive? What kind of species survives this? Tell me there's a logical explanation.
Just good old-fashioned human metabolism, I figure. But since we're stuck here, I was thinking I'd improve things a bit, make it cozier.
He stood up, brushing granola crumbs from his flannel, and grabbed a pry bar from the wall as if selecting a garden tool.
You're going back out there? After everything? You'll freeze solid within minutes.
Nah, this ain't even cold enough for frostbite if you keep moving. Back in Minnesota, we'd call this a crisp afternoon.
He cracked the hatch, letting in a blast of sharp air, and stepped out. The storm swallowed him within 3 paces.
He just called -180 degrees crisp. I have no words.
His species has no right to exist, and yet he's out there improving the crash site while we huddle like prey.
He said improve things. What does he think this is? A campsite?
Brandon dragged twisted hull plates from the wreckage and wedged them into a semicircular wall, ignoring the wind that ripped at his flannel.
He is stacking wreckage like a nest builder. At -180, I'm watching a biological impossibility.
Inside the pod, Vex Carell's breathing turned rapid. His biomonitor chimed a cascade warning.
He is entering full Category 3. I need a sedative before his cardiac rhythm destabilizes.
Perhaps it is a death wish. Some species develop self-destructive rituals when facing inescapable doom.
His bio readings show stress, but not lethal. Core temperature is dropping so slowly it barely registers. This defies all our science.
Reality has fractured. The human builds, and my crew debates it like a science puzzle. I am failing as pilot.
The windbreak climbed to shoulder height, braced with conduit from the ship. Brandon slammed a plate home with a resonant clang.
Sedatives in, he'll stay calm but conscious. We must decide, trust the human, or restrain him when he returns.
Restrain him? He is the only reason we might survive. That wall, it breaks the wind. Look at it.
With the windbreak standing, Brandon turned his attention to the debris field, selecting reflective panels and a dark metal sheet.
Just rigging up a little heat pocket. These panels catch the sun's light. The dark sheet absorbs it, should warm up a few degrees.
He is engineering a microclimate with scrap metal. Primitive, yet the physics are sound. Could it actually work? Temperature increase of 2.4 degrees at the focal point. Negligible by our standards, but it is real.
He's improving the crash site, not just surviving it, remaking it to suit his species. Unbelievable.
The makeshift collector began to radiate a faint warmth, ice cracking near its base. Brandon adjusted the panels with a satisfied nod.
2.4 degrees. He stole heat from a moon that kills in seconds. My entire species engineering could not do this.
Not much, but it'll hold off the worst chill when the wind drops. We'll need it if that front moves in.
The twin suns sank lower, their light angling directly into the reflective panels. The heat collector glowed a dull amber against the relentless white.
He has turned a crash site into a shelter, and he did it in less than 2 hours. What other impossible things do humans consider normal?
Brandon settled onto an ice-locked boulder inside the windbreak's curve, produced the piece of frozen lichen, and began to whittle with the edge of the pry bar.
Lichen's a bit brittle, but it holds an edge better than basswood. Not bad for alien timber.
2 hours of exposure. Core temperature loss, less than 3 degrees. This violates every thermodynamic model we have for survival.
What if it is not violation, but adaptation? What if his species evolved on a world that is just like this moon?
Impossible. No sentient life has ever arisen on a world colder than a temperate zone. The galaxy's census confirms it.
The whittled shape resolved into a four-legged animal with a pointed snout and a curved tail, a creature from some distant Earth memory.
There you are, looks just like Rufus. He'd be rolling in this snow till he was solid ice.
He is not mad. He is not suicidal. He is simply doing what his species does on a world that would kill us in seconds.
His vital signs reflect contentment. Cortisol levels are baseline. He finds this pleasant?
If humans are this resistant, then every compact survival manual is obsolete. We need to rewrite everything about cold zone emergencies.
Care for some, Joe? Keeps the chill off. Minnesota blend, brewed black.
He attached the tube from his thermos to the pod's external feed. Dark liquid trickled through and pooled in a small internal cup.
It burns, but pleasantly. A warmth I have never felt from a liquid. What is this?
Temperature 67 degrees. He carries a solvent this hot inside his clothing, without insulation. Unthinkable.
Just coffee. Back home, we drink it iced in summer, steaming in winter. Keeps your hands warm and your spirits up.
Your species voluntarily exposes yourselves to freezing temperatures for recreation.
Sure, ice fishing. You drill a hole, sit out for hours in -40, catch a few walleye. Best way to unwind.
-40. He seeks out temperatures that would crack our hull plates for sport. This species is built for environments we call death.
The Vrelak crew exchanged glances, sipping the dark brew. For the first time since the crash, their huddling loosened.
This coffee, it is exceptional. Better than any standard ration. We should requisition this for all patrols.
While Brandon adjusted the collector outside, the pod's monitor finished a latent deep scan of his tourism health implant.
The implant data was never meant for combat analysis, but it's enough. Look at this. Brown adipose tissue, mitochondrial density off every chart.
A holographic human body rotated, highlighting subcutaneous layers of brown fat, dense capillary networks, and metabolic pathways that burned fuel without shivering.
Vasoconstriction threshold is incredible. He redirects blood flow away from extremities to preserve core heat. At -180, it still functions.
This is not a mutation, this is evolution. He is built for these temperatures the way we are built for a temperate world.
No amount of thermal gear gives us that. We are engineering against nature. He is nature's answer to the cold.
The implant projects he can survive -50 degrees Celsius for over 6 hours without permanent damage. This moon's surface is merely uncomfortable.
We are the fragile ones. Every Vrelak emergency protocol for cold zone survival is designed around our limitations, not reality.
The crew fell silent, the hologram spinning slowly, its data an indictment of centuries of Vrelak survival doctrine.
What do we even do with this knowledge? The human is out there and we cannot even step outside without dying.
A piercing alarm cut through the pod. A red icon pulsed on the monitor. Sever cyclonic blizzard. Estimated arrival 2 hours.
Wind speeds of 200 kilometers per hour. Wind chill factor will drop the effective temperature below -220.
The pod's structural simulator updated. Probability of thermal seal integrity failure during the storm, 78%.
I caught that alarm. Look, the pods won't hold. We need to build a combined shelter around the collector. Use the windbreak and some extra panels. We huddle together around the collector, close the gaps with the wreckage panels. Body heat plus that heat pocket, it'll be cozy.
You're asking us to leave the only protection we have and trust a wall of scrap metal and body heat? That's suicide.
Staying here is a guaranteed ice coffin. Outside, with the collector and the windbreak, we've got a shot. I've camped in worse.
His math is sound, pilot. The pod seals will rupture. His construction increased ambient temperature by 2.4 degrees. That might be enough.
The countdown is at 1 hour 27 minutes. If we're going, we go now. I'd rather freeze trying than wait for the pod to crack open.
If I give this order, their lives are on my conscience. But if I don't, we're dead anyway. He's never been wrong yet. Enough. We do as the human says. If we die, it won't be in a cramped pod. All hands, emergency egress. Now!
The crew triggered their suits' emergency cooling buffers, a last-ditch thermal dump designed to buy seconds in lethal exposure.
Good call, pilot. Soon as you're out, head straight for the windbreak. We'll seal it behind you. Move quick.
The cold's biting through my seals. I can feel my joints stiffening. Keep moving, keep moving.
You're doing great! Just another 10 steps to the collector. The faster you go, the less frostbite you'll collect.
Brandon manhandled heavy plates into position while the Vrelak jammed conduits between gaps, their breath crystallizing instantly.
This panel is too warped. The wind will rip through.
Brace it with the pry bar and wedge that blanket. It's ugly, but it'll hold. This isn't a ship, it's survival.
In under 20 minutes, a crooked but solid dome enclosed them. The heat collector hummed at its center, radiating a faint amber glow.
We put our lives in the hands of a creature we thought was fragile, and now we're safer than we've been since the crash.
The blizzard struck with a deafening roar, a wall of solid white that shook the patched walls until every seam screamed.
Windbreak's deflecting the worst of it. Keep close to the collector, and don't worry about the noise. She'll hold.
The noise is unbearable. How can a natural wind sound like an engine cascade?
just like Lake of the Woods in February. A good storm there can peel the paint off a shack. This is nothing.
Hours ground by in near total darkness. The Vrelak drifted in and out of consciousness, their metabolisms slowing to conserve energy.
The human hasn't slept. He is watching the walls, adjusting panels, feeding the collector. He is the reason we are still alive.
You're doing fine, pilot. Rest. I've done this 100 times. The storm's already losing its teeth.
The roar began to soften, the wind losing its frenzied pitch. A thin gray light filtered through the cracks as the blizzard exhausted itself.
It's passing. We survived. By the ancestors, we actually survived.
The shelter held. After 7 brutal hours, the storm receded, leaving them alive, exhausted, and bound by the improbable mercy of a human in flannel. Thron Voss pulled himself outside and trudged to the ice-caked pods. He pried open a maintenance hatch and peered inside.
The thermal seals are fractured. If we'd stayed, the pressure differential would have cracked them open within the first hour. We'd all be dead.
He returned to the shelter, holding a warped seal ring as evidence. The Vrelak crew looked at it in silence, then at Brandon.
We owe you our lives, human. I doubted you at every step, and you were right every time. Thank you.
No problem. You guys just needed a little Minnesota spirit and a pry bar.
The honesty in his voice cut deeper than any grand speech. For a moment, the only sound was the weak whistle of wind through the panels.
Rescue beacon just updated. They're 1 hour out. The storm front cleared their approach vector.
Perfect. That gives me time to break down the collector for transport. Might want to keep the design. Could save some folks down the road.
He is packing the debris like camping gear, not a survivor, an instructor. What horrors does his species call recreation?
When we get back, I'm requesting a full medical review of human cold physiology. And then I'm taking a vacation to a warm nebula.
Through the thinning clouds, a Vrelak rescue cruiser descended, searchlights sweeping the ice. Commandant Solantar led his team across the snow, scowling at the improvised camp.
What is this construction? Windbreak, heat collector. This is a survival camp, not a crash site.
The human passenger built it, Commandant. He walked out in the storm and improved our chances.
Rescue medics scanned Brandon, baffled by his vitals, his core temperature barely below normal. His core temperature was only 2 degrees below baseline. The lead medic recommended a hot meal and rest.
I want a full after-action report, pilot. This changes everything about cold zone survival.
Understood. The report will reflect that we survived because of the human's environmental judgment.
Nice ship? Any coffee aboard? I've been rationing mine since the crash.
Solantar stared at the windbreak, then at Brandon. For the first time in his career, he doubted the compact's survival assumptions. Vex Carell sat at a compact datapad in the rescue ship's lounge, his words deliberate.
If a human is present in the survival group, defer to the human's environmental judgment.
The report attached every data log, storm sensor warnings, pod failure simulations, and Brandon's vitals.
This single recommendation would rewrite 2 centuries of protocol. He hoped command would listen.
He pressed transmit. The report shot through the rescue ship's comm relay toward Compact Command. Commandant Solantar read the report on the bridge, his brow furrowing deeper with each paragraph.
Absurd. Defer to a civilian tourist in a survival scenario, but the data matches.
He appended his command endorsement and sent it to the Emergency Protocol Division. The report was now official. On the rescue ship's monitor, the file flashed, Priority Flag, Cold Zone Survival Amendment.
He leaned back, his antennae still frost-rimmed. He had done his duty. The rest was up to the Council.
3 weeks later, the Vrelak Compact Council convened in its high-vaulted chamber. Vex Carell's report shimmered before them. If a human is present in the survival group, defer to the human's environmental judgment. The key line hung in the air like an irreducible fact. A counselor rose, voice trembling not with fear, but with scientific awe. This changes everything we thought we knew about human biology. The logs scrolled. Blizzard wind speeds of 200 kilometers per hour, pod failure probability at 78%, and Brandon's core temperature lost a mere 2 degrees. The debate was brief. The evidence, pod failure simulations, thermal seal analysis, human metabolic data left no room for doubt. A holographic voting grid appeared. Green lights spread as each counselor cast their vote. The tally reached unanimous approval. For the first time in 2 centuries, a survival protocol was being rewritten. Emergency Protocol Amendment 87B, Human Presence Environmental Deferral, HPED, budget line approved, effective immediately. Compact engineers began drafting new survival kit inserts. A bolded note, human passenger overrides standard cold zone procedure. Across the galaxy, memos cascaded. One human tourist had forced the Vrelak Compact to rewrite survival itself. Weeks later, on a Vrelak station, Brandon Hayes found a quiet terminal and called up the Compact's official tourism portal. The holographic interface bloomed with destinations. He navigated to the feedback form for his sightseeing exchange program trip.
Might as well leave a review. That exchange turned out memorable even if it wasn't in the brochure.
He tapped the star rating, selecting 4 out of 5, then began typing. The screen showed a fragment, great scenery, friendly crew. Then he paused, considering his phrasing.
Should I mention the dry snacks? That's honest feedback, not a complaint. The emergency landing sure added adventure.
He resumed typing, the review taking shape under the station's cool blue glow. His half-smile deepened as he recalled the blizzard, the windbreak, and the look on Vex Carell's face. He typed the final line, giving the trip 4 stars out of 5, then hit submit. The review posted, a tiny data packet joining the galaxy's network, ready to ripple outward. The review read, the emergency landing added unexpected adventure. Staff handled it well. Weather was crisp. In-flight snacks could be moister. 4 out of 5 stars. A Vrelak administrator reading the review reportedly exclaimed, "He forgot his coat." The phrase rippled through the Compact network, a perfect absurdist summary of human cold tolerance. Headline, "He forgot his coat," appeared on feeds across the sector, attached to a clip of Brandon's casual stroll. Memes captioned it, "Minnesota man defies physics, forgets coat, survives ice moon." Brandon, upon learning his review had changed emergency protocols, shrugged and asked if he got a discount on his next trip. But the galaxy had already taken the lesson. Humans are the ultimate cold-weather apex predators. And the phrase, "he forgot his coat," became synonymous with the moment a species realizes it is no longer the toughest thing in the room. For Brandon Hayes, it was just another Tuesday. In his quarters aboard a Vrelak station, Vex Carell's datapad chimed with a trending alert from the tourism portal. He opened the review, reading the human's casual words. The emergency landing added unexpected adventure.
Adventure? He calls a near-death crash an adventure. And he complained about the snacks.
A low, rumbling sound escaped his throat, a Vrelak laugh, rare and rusty from disuse.
Thronvoss, are you seeing this? The human's review is trending.
I saw. He described the crash as unexpected adventure. His species is utterly mad.
He gave us 4 stars, complimented the crew. The only fault was the snacks.
Typical human. I'll requisition better rations.
We nearly died, and the worst thing about his trip was dry snacks. That is so profoundly human.
He saved the review to his personal archive, a reminder that the galaxy still held incomprehensible wonders. The phrase, "he forgot his coat," trended across the Compact's holonet for 3 standard days. News feeds replayed the clip of Brandon stepping out of the pod in flannel, the blizzard swallowing him. Alien analysts debated whether humans were truly cold-resistant or just dangerously unaware. The Compact's Cultural Committee added crisp to its official lexicon, defined as between -50 and -180 degrees Celsius. In bars across Vrelak space, patrons toasted to the human who forgot his coat. Brandon Hayes, meanwhile, was already back in Minnesota, ice fishing on Lake of the Woods. When asked about his newfound fame, he just shrugged and said, "Nice to be appreciated." The galaxy learned a permanent lesson: never underestimate a human in a flannel. And somewhere in the Vrelak Compact archives, a tiny carving of a dog sat next to a thermos of coffee, a silent monument to the day a tourist improved a crash site. "He forgot his coat?" In the quiet of his quarters, Vex Carell looked out at the stars. The datapad rested on his desk, the review still open.
We rewrote protocol because of a man who thought our emergency landing was an adventure. The galaxy will never forget that.
And somewhere on Earth, a man in a red and black flannel walked out onto a frozen lake, coffee in hand, perfectly at home. In the Compact's Emergency Protocol Annex, a new line sat in bold: "If human present, defer to human environmental judgment." The headline, "He forgot his coat," was archived in the Vrelak Cultural Museum as the moment a species rediscovered humility. Brandon Hayes never sought recognition. He just did what humans do: adapted, improved, and asked for better snacks. Vex Carell closed the datapad and allowed himself a final thought before sleep.
The Deathworlders are not what we feared. They're worse and better. We just needed a little Minnesota spirit.
The snowstorm on Cres Via Die continued, but the memory of one human's calm defiance became a permanent fixture in the cold. And the galaxy, for all its technology and wisdom, finally understood the most dangerous thing in the universe is a human who forgot his coat. On a frozen Minnesota morning, Brandon Hayes sat on a bucket, lying in the water, the temperature a balmy -30.
Aliens, ice moons, emergency protocols. Funny how the galaxy discovered what every Minnesotan already knew.
In a Vrelak station bar, a young pilot raised a glass. To the human who forgot his coat. The crowd rumbled approval. The phrase became a cultural touchstone, a reminder that the cosmos, for all its threats, had already produced a species that considered them manageable. Brandon didn't think much about it. His review was honest, his coffee still hot. There were fish to catch. But out in the void, the story of that day on Cres VI became legend, how a human in jeans and flannel rewrote survival itself. The Vrelak Compact's manual for tourists was updated. Page 1, bold type: "If your human does not seem sufficiently dressed for the weather, do not panic. They are likely comfortable." Every Vrelak cadet now learned the phrase. It was printed on patches, whispered in survival drills, a humorous shibboleth of the new reality. And so, on an ice moon or a frozen lake, the same truth held: humans don't conquer the cold, they just bring a coffee. "Forgot his coat?"